There's this hidden cost, and it's silently eating away at your company's growth. The thing is, it's not on any balance sheet. It's a tax that your most valuable people are paying every single day. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what it is. So let's just start with this, a really critical question. I want you to think about your key people, your strategic thinkers, your innovators. Are they actually out there driving the business forward? Or are they stuck just serving the business, just feeding the beast of administrative demands? The answer to that question reveals what we call the operator tax, and it's a hidden cost that's draining your company's true potential. Now, to really get why this tax is so crushing right now, we have to look at the economic landscape, especially as we're heading toward 2026. And this whole environment is really being defined by the engine of our economy, small businesses. Get a load of this number, 99.9%. That is the percentage of all U.S. firms that are officially classified as small businesses. I mean, that's not a typo. That's basically every single business in the country. So you've got over 33 million companies, and they're all trying to navigate this really fragile, kind of weird labor market. A lot of people are calling it a low-hire, low-fire environment. And what that really means is your most important leaders, they're being forced to wear more and more hats, and that's creating this massive, massive bottleneck to growth. All right, so this huge pressure, this constant need to do more with less, it's given rise to an invisible, but believe me, incredibly expensive expense. And that's what we call the operator tax. So what is it exactly? Well, the operator tax is the price you pay every single time your head of sales is stuck doing data entry or your CFO is manually reconciling invoices. It's any task that keeps your brilliant leaders working in the business instead of working on the business. And here is the really frustrating part. We've all heard this amazing piece of advice, right? It's the golden rule for entrepreneurs. But for millions of leaders today, the sheer weight of this operator tax has made following this advice, well, almost impossible. The in-the-business grind is just completely overwhelming any chance to work on the business. So where does all this administrative grind actually come from? Let's kind of follow the money, or in this case, the wasted time, and see exactly how this tax shows up across every department. Now, what's so interesting about this slide is it really helps you see the problem. This is the tech stack of a modern company, but it looks more like a tangled spider web of disconnected apps, doesn't it? And every single one of those little dotted lines, that represents a spot where someone has to do manual data entry or transfer. This complexity, this is the engine that powers the administrative grind. For your sales team, this means hours and hours spent just updating the CRM, cleaning up contact info, you know the drill. That's time they are absolutely not spending building relationships and closing deals. And that slows down the entire revenue pipeline. And what about your finance leaders? Oh man. For them, it looks like late nights hunting down billing errors, manually fixing mistakes in payroll. This is precious time they can't spend on actual financial strategy, on giving the business the foresight it desperately needs. Over in HR and ops, the tax gets paid through just endless hours on onboarding paperwork, answering the same policy questions over and over again. This keeps them from focusing on what really moves the needle, building a fantastic company culture. And don't forget your IT experts. For them, the tax is just this constant flood of help desk tickets, user access requests, and urgent security patches. It leaves your most skilled technical minds in a constant state of just reacting instead of proactively building and innovating. So, what's the solution, right? In this cautious, low-hire market, the traditional answer of just let's throw more bodies at the problem, well, it's not really feasible. It's not even smart. A lot of the time, that just adds more complexity and more cost. We need a totally new approach. And this chart, wow, this brilliantly lays out why we need that new way of thinking. When you compare the traditional solution, just a human hire, to a new model, the difference is it's stark. I mean, look at availability, 40 hours a week versus 24/7, 365. Or accuracy, human error is a given versus absolute data integrity. This really points us toward a completely different kind of solution. And all of this leads us to a completely new model for leadership, and maybe even more important, a new model for execution. The way to finally eliminate the operator tax isn't about adding more people to the payroll. It's about rethinking the nature of the work itself. The real solution lies in a whole new category of labor, one that's designed from the ground up to automate the grind so your people can finally focus on growth. I mean, just imagine for a second a dedicated, autonomous director for every single core function of your business, a catalyst for sales ops, a fiducia for finance, Nexus for HR, Cortex for IT, each one just flawlessly executing those low-value, repetitive tasks 24/7, paying that tax for you. And that brings us to the final and most important question. What could your business really achieve if your best human talent was completely freed up to focus only on strategy, on creativity, on high-value growth? That is the ultimate promise here, to finally eliminate the operator tax for good and unlock the true potential of your team.